So I usually go to Spotify to check out what's new on the charts, what's trending, and see what everybody's listening to get inspiration for a new beat. Then I'll go through and listen to them until one of them interests me, and then I'll decide to use that as a blueprint. Okay, let's go with these young fellas here. Templates are good. Throw a link up so you can check it out. Templates are good for saving you time. Oh, why am I going to sit here 5-10 minutes adding tracks and doing all this stuff, finding the plugins, this and that, if I can already have it ready for this type of project where I'm focusing on making a beat. So once the session is up, I'm going to import the track and then find the BPM for the song. There's no order on what I start using, but I'm just deciding I'm going to do the hi-hat first. So I'll just listen back and forth. There we go. Let's go ahead and quantize it. Marker here. And then just go hi-hat start. So now I go through and make notes on the timeline for when parts and instruments come in and out, and I do this based on the reference track. I do this so on the final phase, once I've recorded all the instruments, I can go back and chop and cut out different parts based on what they did in the reference track. So the first thing I did was so you can see the melody starts, hi-hat starts here. So I did the hi-hat, then kick and snare come in, so we go ahead and do the kick. So now I've been using the Falcon plugin. There's so many options with it, and I'm still trying to learn them all, but I noticed this song doesn't have a traditional kick where you can hear the pop of the kick. It's more of a sub. So I went into Falcon, found some sub settings, and then wrote a melody. Easy enough. Go here, clean it up. So now I'm going through and quantizing the sub part, and then I'm going to start the snare. As I was going back and forth with the reference track trying to find the snare, I realized that it's actually layered, so there's a clap instead of a snare that I heard first. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and add that. Now I go in and quantize the snare, then duplicate it across the whole project, and then I A/B compare it mixed with the sub and mixed with the hi-hat to see how it sounds in comparison to the reference track. So notice there's some claps, and then they layer a snare over the claps when the full beat comes in, and it's a trick just to enhance the sound, bring up the energy a little more. So now I use the Expand plugin, which is an old one but a very effective one I've used for years. I know the good thing about using plugins on a regular basis is you start remembering certain tones, believe it or not. So with the snare tone, I knew there was something in Expand that was similar to it that I could tweak a little bit and get it pretty close to what I hear in the recording, which is what I did. A/B compare it. I'm going to fine tune it. So got it. Pretty good. Good place to start. So now I'll move on to the melody, and I'll use the piano plugin to write the melody, and then from there I can either keep it as a piano if the song calls for it, or typically I'll move it to a separate track that's already armed and ready, usually with Falcon or Expand there, and then I can just drop the MIDI data into that and create, you know, the tone and everything how I wanted to sound. While I was doing this, I realized that the bass line was flat. I played some wrong notes,
and it dawns on me at this moment that I kind of went against my own rule when it comes to writing the bass line.
So I made the bass line earlier, then realized I broke my own rule. What I typically do to avoid, to be able to hear the melody better if I'm using the bass first, is to do the sub and the bass at a higher octave, so I can actually hear it. When it's super low, it's deceiving. Notes sound a little different, at least to my ears. So I bumped the bass way to a higher octave and realized I had some sour notes in there, so now I made these adjustments. I'm going to drop this back down where it's supposed to be.
So now I'm moving on to the melody, and the reference song I was using, it's some sort of acoustic guitar that they were playing. I didn't really feel like using the acoustic. I didn't feel like getting the mics out. I'm not trying to get the exact same song that they wrote. I'm just kind of getting the vibe of it. So I decided to go synth, spent some time going through the plugins, created the melody, and then moved on to the more lead sounding layer of the that you hear on the reference track.
This will give it a little bit of an effect. It'll give it a cool little effect that you'll hear in the finished product.
So I listened to the track again to see if there's anything I'm missing, and I do notice there is a lead that's playing over the main melody. So go in, stick with the synth plugin, work out a lead, and then record that part.
Pressure's on. Not really. Got it.
So this is the point where the timeline that you labeled earlier comes back to help you out. You're at the end of the session and you're probably a little fatigued or whatever. You can use this guideline to help take parts in and out to match how they come in and out on the reference track. Very, very helpful. It's something I just started doing, and it definitely helps. It's not perfect. You still want to A-B back and forth the song, obviously, but it's definitely a help towards the end of the session.
So next goes into the mixing phase. Well, I'll be mixing it, and then after that, I'll do the mastering. Then I'll use A-B comparing with this track, with this song, reference song. If you don't know what A-B comparing is, check out the video. It explains it. Very simple, very effective way to get your master to sound really, really good. This is the blueprint I use to help make beats fast. Try to get them done in a day. And when I say a day, actually within a couple hours, few hours maybe. Get them online, get them available on the website, all that.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe, then head to MylzMedia.com, where for a limited time artists can pick up 2 free beats and also grab other high quality beats starting at only $4.99.